Hello and welcome to episode number 110 of The Pitcher or the Hitter, the podcast by the M-SABR Dynasty League for the M-SABR Dynasty League. I am Cam.
I'm Sahil.
And the offseason is in full swing. We are only about a month and a half away from the regular season. And we have Dynasty Trivia today. We've invited Erik back on for the third ever edition. Sahil, we're going to see if you can defend your crown and three-peat.
Yes, I'm very excited, even though we recorded it right before we recorded this segment, so we already know how it turned out. We'll see if I am happy or if I am sad after the segment, but definitely a fun time, always a fun time to do Dynasty Trivia or trivia in general. But before you all get to listen to that, there's a couple of league matters to discuss. While the trade market has slowed down a little bit, you and I did make one trade this week. And in normal fashion for the two of us recently, it has a bunch of conditions and it's over like relatively like second and third round picks, nothing special. So Mount Rushmore has agreed to trade Ruth Vick's 2024 second and a conditional third to the Liam Hendriks experience for Sean Manaea and a conditional third round pick. If Manaea finishes the 2023 season with a sub 4.25 ERA, I owe you my next available third. If Manaea finishes 2023 with an ERA above 5.25, and he has not left my roster from the day of the trade to the first day of the All-Star break, Cam will send his next available third round pick to me. Cam, I just did a lot of talking. Why don't you give your thoughts on this trade first? Why did you make it?
This was a deal that kind of had a lot of pre. We had been discussing a Manaea deal for a long time. I kind of felt one starter too heavy. At least during the season, I did. And Manaea was kind of that guy. I felt more confident in Alex Wood go forward than I did in Sean Manaea. With Wood's peripheral being still really solid, despite his bad half season on my team. And Sean Manaea had just been so unbelievably frustrating to own, particularly 2021 down the stretch. And then in 2022 as well, he struggled. So I was kind of ready to move on, and I got a second rounder for him. That's kind of what I've been getting for guys like him, that I'm ready to move on from, that don't really have a spot on my team, but aren't necessarily guys who are cuttable. I feel like it was a solid deal for both of us, and the conditions were fun.
Yeah, always fun to have the conditions. I think you're right. I think it was a pretty solid deal for both of us. Manaea is somebody I've liked in the past. I maybe think he's been a little overrated in the past in some circles, but I do generally think he's kind of a solid mid-rotation starter. I like that he signed with the Giants. They've done a really good job of, getting pitchers back on track, i.e. Kevin Gausman, Carlos Rodon, Alex Cobb, Alex Wood. I'm a little concerned about the defense behind him, especially with them not signing Correa. That's not the strongest defense. I don't really trust Jock Peterson and Mitch Haniger and Michael Conforto in that outfield and some of the infielders that they have. But one thing that was interesting when I was doing my research is, and I had prepared for this to talk about this like way earlier, so I'm forgetting the exact pitches, but he has a very kind of similar pitch mix in terms of the types of pitches that he has as Logan Webb. And they've been able to do a lot of great work with Logan Webb. And I'm not saying that, Sean Manaea is suddenly going to turn into Logan Webb or anything, but I think that they do have, the Giants have some experience working with pitchers who are, have some similarities to Manaea. So that makes me a little confident, as well as some of the peripherals from last year were a little more forgiving. So I think he's perfectly capable of having a solid year in San Francisco, returning, the some solid, value. And if he doesn't, I lost out on a second round pick. And, while that's, never fun to lose out on, the way I trade picks, it's not going to be a big deal in the long run. It wasn't like I traded a first round pick to get him. That being said, I wish the second round pick was one that I thought was going to be later in the round. I do think you might have a top half of the second round pick here. And in that sense, I wonder if I overpaid slightly. I think he was more worth like my pick or your pick or Erik's pick and not Ruth Vic's pick. So maybe I'm calling out Ruth Vic here, but I stand by that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I'm not gonna predict Ruth Vic to make the playoffs this year necessarily, so I'm happy with that being in the first half of the second round. You mentioned Logan Webb. He's an interesting guy. There are certain types of players who kind of have a breakout year, and then kind of get a ton of hype and then get maybe a little overrated, perhaps. And then the following year, they have a good season, and then they kind of end up underrated after that second year. I think Logan Webb's a perfect example of that.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean,
maybe his peripherals look worse than they did last year, but he's proven that he wasn't fluke, and he's proven that he's a legitimate ace, and people have kind of weirdly forgotten that.
Yeah, and I wonder if, I'm not saying, Manaea is going to have that 2.90 ERA and 3.03 FIP, which Webb had last year. I mean, Webb actually had a higher WAR in 2022 than he had in 2021. I guess it was in about 44 more innings, but, it's still a 4 WAR player is definitely someone that you want to be rostering. But hey, if Manaea can have like a 3.50 ERA, which I think is closer aligned to what he posted in 2021, I'd be really ecstatic about that. But yeah, Logan Webb's not somebody we talk about a lot. I don't even remember the last time we mentioned his name on the podcast, or honestly how often I've thought about him this off season.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think would you call him the pitcher equivalent of like a Randy Rosarena?
Yeah, that actually feels pretty accurate. And it's funny how Rosarena went from someone I thought was overhyped to now like very underhyped.
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting.
Yeah, I agree, and I think Webb's kind of gotten a little bit of that too. I'm trying to think of other guys who are like that, but anyway, we don't have to. That was the one trade we had to talk about. At least the one trade from this past week. But we, before we get into our main segment, a couple more things to talk about. We have some trades from the past. Today we're recording this on February 19th, and a few interesting trades have happened this day in history.
Yes, two very interesting trades. And Cam, I'll let you pull up and see where the second one, or maybe even the first one, ranked in our top 100 episode 10 episodes ago. The smaller of the two was Erik traded Max Kepler, Kyle Schwarber, Rich Hill, Josiah Gray, and Joe Ryan to Alex for Tyler Glasnow, DJ LeMahieu, and Forrest Whitley. I think at the time I thought that Alex very much lost that trade, giving up Tyler Glasnow, LeMahieu coming off a solid year, and Forrest Whitley was a top prospect. But honestly, the way that Schwarber's played and Joe Ryan looking solid, and Glasnow being hurt, like that actually looks like a relatively even trade, probably even one that's favoring Alex a bit.
Yeah, so this trade ended up being number 90 for us. I had it at 65. You had it unranked. So it balanced out to be our number 90 trade. Actually one of the largest differences in favor of me of the whole thing. But yeah, I think it's interesting. I'm definitely not giving up on Tyler Glasnow yet. But yeah, Joe Ryan, and yeah, with those home runs, Schwarber, Max Kepler, we were talking about this off. So weird. He's got really low BABIPs, and he's not slow. And he hits the ball hard, and I don't know how to reckon with that. We've been kind of hoping maybe he's like the Chris Archer of hitters, in that it's got to turn around at some point, and maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, but Archer was like legitimately good. Like Kepler had spiked the one big year in 19 with the gopher ball. And
I don't know if I'd say Archer was legitimately good.
he had a couple really good years. Yeah, he had like 4 good years in a row. 194 and 2/3 of a 3.33 ERA, 212 with a 3.23. Not as good the 2 years after that, 201 and a third with a 402, and then 201 with a 407 ERA. But like, hey, I'd take those 4 years. And then before all that, 128 and 2/3 with a 3.22 ERA. So some solid production.
Yeah, I mean, he was solid for a few years.
Yeah, just never worked out. Rays got out at the right time.
Oh God, yeah, that trade. But yeah, so this was an interesting trade. And what was the other trade from February 19th that we wanted to discuss?
Yeah, this is a doozy of a trade. The life of Ovado. So this was Clayton and Jake traded Eloy Jimenez, Bobby Wood Jr., Brendan McKay, Kirby Yates, and Sean Manaea to Connor for Wander Franco, Luis Castillo, Jurickson Profar, and Keone Kaveiko. If anybody remembers when he was randomly being hyped up in the league for like a hot sec.
Yeah. This one we had all the way up at number 17 of our 100 trades. This is one that I had ranked higher than you did as well. God, it's interesting. And it looks like, I would say Connor won the deal on the whole, probably, but Luis, I'd rather have, I mean, Bobby Wood Jr.'s the best dynasty asset, although I think he's getting overrated right now. MLB had him as their like 4 guy for this upcoming season, which is just absolutely mind-bogglingly dumb. But I still think he's the best dynasty asset of this group. Eloy can hit the ball hard. Luis Castillo is a great get though, and I know he's bounced around since, but he is an A. And Wander Franco, we'll see how the next couple of seasons go for him. But yeah, this deal turned out really solid for Connor.
Yeah, I mean, remember when Brendan McKay was a big deal too? Supposed to be Ohtani Light. Never quite happened for him, was a shame. But yeah, it's worked out for Connor. It's a shame he traded Bobby Wood for Jose Barrios, but
yeah, ouch.
Well, he did trade Jose Barrios to get Sal Perez, which got him into the finals. So you know these things work. They work in mysterious ways sometimes, these trades. But yeah, definitely one of the more significant trades in league history. And those are the only 2 trades that have ever been made on February 19th. Who knows? There's an hour and 11 minutes left at the time of recording of February 19th. Maybe another trade slips in. That would be pretty hilarious.
Yeah, we shall see. But yeah, no, big day in trades history. The date of recording it certainly won't be up for on the date of recording. It'll be up sometime next week. But yeah, February 19th.
Yeah, absolutely. There's one more thing we wanted to discuss. And that's Jake's team. So Frankie Montas, it initially looked like a couple of weeks ago, a report came out that he probably missed the first month and a half of the season with an injury. And it now looks like that he's going to miss most of, if not the entirety of the 2023 season. Jake has already traded away Sandy Alcantara earlier this offseason in the Kyle Tucker trade. he's
he's traded away Freddie Peralta too.
he traded away Freddie Peralta, but he did get Kevin Gausman in that deal. So I actually that's probably a short, at the very least, a short-term upgrade. But I mean, if you look at his rotation now, it's Carlos Rodon, Luis Castillo, Kevin Gausman, Blake Snell. That's his top four, and then after that, it's Carlos Carrasco, Garrett Whitlock, Tyler McGill, Brian Bayo, and Nathan Eovaldi. I know he's looking for another starter. Let's first ask the question: are you concerned about his rotation?
Absolutely. And it's funny because during the season, and especially in 2021, this rotation was like a very big quantity driven rotation. A lot of starters who were just gonna strike out 100 guys a week. And yeah, that's not really the case anymore. I mean, Castillo, Rodon, Gausman are a great top three, but it really does kind of fall apart after that, especially with Montas hurt. And Snell, I'm not the biggest fan of.
No, Snell.
Yeah, it's a little worrisome.
Yeah, I mean, Snell has not pitched more than 128 innings since 2018, and only once in his career has he gone over 129 and a third.
Yeah, I mean, really, what it was once he left Tampa Bay, and we all kind of realized, oh no, he's just it's not Tampa holding him back. He really just can't pitch in the sixth period.
Exactly. And then, Rodon had a great year last year, but I think people were forgetting with the big contract and how he did last year with the Giants. Like, he ended this season hurt for the White Sox in 2021. Like, he started out strong and kind of faltered with that. So I think there's definitely some injury concerns.
Kind of Bailey faulted that.
Yes. Ooh, that's a great.
Trying to do that thing you do.
Yeah, thank you. He barely faltered down the stretch. That's very clever. That is the opposite of an Aaron Bummer. And then Gausman, I think is going to bounce back after a little bit of a down year, but they did bring the fences back. And then Luis Castillo is someone I like, but he's also had issues in the past with higher walk rates and higher whips. As recently as 2021, he had the 3.98 ERA, 136 whip, 123 whip the year before that, 122 in 2018. So, while I think he's a very good pitcher, a lot of strikeouts. He was also spent some time on the IL Hall in 2022. I feel uneasy about this rotation, and I think, and I don't like any of Jake's secondary options, really. I don't think Carrasco's much of anything. I don't think McGill's even going to start. I think Whitlock's fine, but nothing special. Ditto with Brian Bayo. Like, I'm sure he's higher on them as Red Sox guys, and I've made my disdain of Nathan Eovaldi pretty clear.
Yeah, I will say Castillo the natty, but he wasn't really doing that as much now that he's on Seattle.
That's fair, but I don't think Castillo is like one of those like top 10 starters. Like, I think there's a little more risk with Castillo than your normal ace. I'm
not going to call it more risk, but I think he's not a top 10 guy now.
No, I think he's more like top 20. And I mean, the offense is so elite where he might be able to overcome it, but the offense also lacks a little bit of depth. And I worry that a couple injuries there or a couple more injuries with the starting pitching and maybe there's some trouble. Now to be clear, it's still a very good team. Just won a championship. We didn't even mention, his relievers can carry some of the load. Raisel Iglesias, Steven Williams, Ryan Presley are all top 10 closers. I think we're both in agreement here that Jake really needs to go out and get someone.
Yeah, and clearly seems to agree with that sentiment as well. He's asked for a starting pitcher. No one's really given him serious answers. Sounds like maybe Jesus Luzardo is someone he's reached out on. Ruthvik's thrown out some names that aren't very good. And yeah, that's basically where we are now. Do you know anything that's going on behind the scenes with him trying to make a trade?
He inquired on my starters because I kind of like put them on the block and just said, hey, I've listened to offers, and he seems willing to move some of his young bats, but none of the top guys, and I'm not going to move a top pitcher for not top player. And it's not like Jake and I are ever going to reach a trade anyways, but yeah, the Luzardo thing was kind of big for a while. I heard some Stephen Kwan and some other stuff for Jesus Luzardo, but that doesn't seem like it went anywhere. I don't know. I think well, maybe not Luzardo, EBO kind of stands out as a team that Jake could swing a trade with. They've been making a lot of trades with each other. And Zane is currently rostering 14 starting pitchers in a league where we have a 12 start maximum per week. So something has to give. And I know Zane is rostering some older names. I don't think all the names he's rostering are the most sexy, but like there's no reason that Zane needs a 41-year-old Adam Wainwright or to a lesser extent, like a 33-year-old Sonny Gray. I think he can trade some of these older guys, or Charlie Morton's another example. And it doesn't seem like Jake is necessarily looking like for an ace, but just kind of a dependable starter. And I think those guys could all be dependable for what they are. It might not be anything special, but Jake could get some decent innings out of them.
God, yeah, 14 starting pitchers, and that doesn't even include Hayden Wisniewski. Yeah, this is a lot. They're never gonna get rid of Matt Ming, no matter how bad he is, I feel like. I don't know why they decided to go after Suarez, to be honest.
Multiple times this offseason they have gone after.
Yeah,
Suarez.
multiple times.
I guess the first time or the second time they did it, they traded away Wainwright. So at least they got rid of a starter. But then they added Wainwright back when I caught him. So I don't know. Yeah. But we'll see. I think we reached a time of the year, middle of February, where we don't see a whole ton of trades. I know the hockey trade deadline's coming up. And there's probably going to be a couple March trades. Maybe some more injuries happen, things start to shake up, but I'm not really expecting Jake to fill the hole in a significant way before this season. But this league has proven me wrong before. Let's see, after February 19th, last year, there were 5 trades. I forget what exactly when opening day was, but something like
April 7th.
April 7th. Okay, and in that case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trades made. So we'll see. You got Clayton Kershaw right before the season last year. So I'm not saying Clayton Kershaw is going to be on the move, but you never know.
You never know.
But anything else you'd like to say, or are we ready for our next segment?
I'll say that some of the rostered percentages are super weird.
Yes,
in
so
ESPN. I normally ignore it, but like right, it's like really weird. Some guys.
So here's what
I don't
happened.
know.
ESPN's default used to be something that more closely resembled our roster settings. Or to have a CI and MI 5 outfielders. They had less bench spots, I believe, than us, and they had only 1 util spot. But they just start 9 pitchers. They have now cut that basically to the bare minimum because they're trying to pander to the lowest common denominator. And they have no CI, there's no MI, there's 2 less outfielders, there's 1 less util spot, there's only 3 bench spots. The settings from our draft last week with Andrew are what their default is now, which is 19 roster spots. So the ownership percentages are going to look weird compared to previous years, and it's going to be a little annoying. But
yeah, that's super. Like Gene Segura dropped from like 85% owned to 5% owned during the offseason,
yeah,
which is kind of ridiculous.
Not right. Yeah, I'm hoping that more leagues shy away from that ranking or from the default settings, and I wish there was a way to break it down by type of league, but I'll be using
it's ESPN. That's never gonna happen.
It's not, but like I'll be using different metrics to figure out. Also, like we've been playing in this league long enough where I don't think any of us really rely on the ownership percentage to make any decision, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that is true. But yeah, that about does it. We'll take a quick break and then we will be right back with Dynasty Trivia.
All right. See you soon.
So, how's it gonna be when it all comes down to cycling trivialities? Don't know which way.
And we're back here. We are joined now by Erik for our third edition of the Trivia. How are you doing, Erik?
Great. How are you guys?
Pretty good. So this is, yeah, like I said, this is our third edition. This time I am hosting once again, hosting the two of you.
In year one, Sahil got the win over myself and Zane. And last year, in year two with me hosting, Sahil got the win again over Erik.
So looking to get the three-peat this year, how do you both feel about your chances?
Feeling pretty good. Been doing good so far. No reason to think I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't do too well last year, so hoping to do a lot better this year.
Hopefully, I think this round's easier than last year. Last year's was definitely a little unfair at times. I'm not asking you about the mock expansion draft this year.
Christ, I forgot about that.
10 questions plus a mystery round plus a final question. You can wager points for each question. I will be monitoring the sheet to make sure that neither of you are checking the sheet. It's all things that are either in the sheet or on ESPN somewhere. Nothing from the podcast or anything podcast trivia already. This is all league history, league past, league present. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Do either of you want to name your teams of one?
Well, Yuki, in honor of Yuki giving Miles Straw shit today and claiming that David Fletcher is a better fantasy option, which, by the way, he very much is not. But I'm not going to get into that because that's not important. I will name my team Team Miles Straw.
All right, Erik.
I'm gonna name my team after the guy I just traded for him, Team Brock Porter.
Ooh.
All right. Miles Straw versus Brock Porter. But yeah, are we ready to get going?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, read categories first. Category number 1 is big trades. Category 2, franchise records. Category 3, important matchups.
Category 4, the inaugural draft.
Category 5, bets. That's bets with 1 T, not 2 T's. Category 6, Sean Murphy. Category 7, anti-records.
Oh.
Yeah, Sean, of course, is his own category. Category 7, anti-records. Category 8, farm systems. 9, systems again. And category 10, losing streaks. Any category standing out so far?
Sean Murphy, as always, stands out. the sheer number of times he's been traded.
But yeah, those are the categories. Let's get rolling. Question number 1, the category is big trades. By the way, you can just DM me your responses and your wagers. The question is, name one player besides Spencer Torkelson and Bobby Witt Jr. who was involved in the famous Torque for Witt trade. Only need one of them here.
I feel like I know the answer, but I want to make sure I'm not like messing this up somehow.
All right, both answers are in. Category is big trades. Name one player besides Torkelson and Bobby Witt Jr. who was involved in the famous Torque for Witt trade. Those other players are Tariq Skubal, someone named Ruiz. I didn't write down the first name. I think it's
Kybert,
maybe.
Yeah.
Kybert, yeah. Kveen, Zach Gallen, and Shane Boz.
I had Zach Gallen written down at first, and I was about to hit enter, and then I got scared. I was like, wait, am I like, is he not in there? I think I was overthinking something I knew, and then I was like, I knew Boz was definitely in there.
Gallen was correct, and that was who Erik chose.
Yeah. Should have known my own guy, where he's been. Yellow champ legend.
Zach Gallen, what a guy. So both of you got that one right. Good job. Yeah. I love that you got there with two different answers. But question number 2 now, the category is franchise records. Every team except for one has had a matchup with 90 or more strikeouts. Who is the 12th team whose record is just 73?
Oh my God.
God damn it.
Yeah, way below every other team. These guys are. Who is the 12th team whose record is just 73 Ks?
Well, like, so if I give the names of the current owners, is that fine? Or like,
yeah, you can give either the team name or the owner/owners. That's fine.
okay.
Anyways.
One of these trivias, we had a weird semantics thing that pissed me off, and I forget what it was, but I don't think it was.
Oh, this was last year. I made sure to read the question and clarify it multiple times, and I think still. This was with.
I remember
with,
being pissed off
the
about it.
reason a trade was in the big trades.
Yeah, it was.
But both of your.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it was the Kyle Lewis being traded for himself.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
I remember now. That was annoying.
Yeah. But you won either way. This question, both of you got it right. It is the Bellies. They've never struck out more than 73 opponents in a week.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that
same.
was one I had to double check many times.
I bid too low.
Yeah, I thought it was one of those that I was like, this feels like the obvious answer, but like, what if it's a trick question?
Yeah.
So I didn't want to wager too high.
That's okay, but you're both 2 for 2. Category 3, this is one that's close to home. The category is important matchup. After losing in the semis last year, the two of you squared off in the ceremonial third place matchup. Which one of you won?
This past season?
Yeah.
This past season, yeah.
Okay.
All right. The two of you squared off in the ceremonial third place matchup. Which one of you won? Sahil, why don't you tell us who the winner was?
The winner was Erik.
That is correct. The winner was Erik.
I checked it actually today when I went on the league page. I went on the league history, but it was also something I was aware of, and slightly annoys me every time I check the league history because it's so important. But ESPN, does their whole calculation crap. So it was Erik.
Yeah, same. I knew this one because I just set my lineup every day just for the hell of it, and I was paying attention.
Yeah, I was not paying attention. I was very annoyed after losing in the semis, and I just started my job, so I was not paying as much attention.
Yeah, fair. I was not expecting you both to get the answers in so quickly, but yeah, valid reasons for getting it. So you're both through three. Maybe question four will trip one of you up. The category is the inaugural draft. And here is the question. The team now known as Benintendi's Chicken Tendies has not held on to any of their original players since the original draft, i.e. players with a yellow box. However, they did get rid of and later reacquire one of their draftees who has a, i.e. green box. Who is this player?
It's someone who currently has a green box.
Yeah, someone who currently has a green box.
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah, they have no yellow boxes, but the green box.
So someone they drafted originally and traded for again.
Well, someone that Max and Ted drafted originally, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
See, I need to like type out their roster here, like what I remember of their roster to this is a hard one.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice job.
Time.
I don't think I could even name like their too many of the guys that they have. I frequently look at that sheet too. I should know this.
Damn. I'm drawing a blank here.
Yeah, same here. This is definitely gonna be a one pointer.
All right, I'll give you about 30 more seconds to come up with something.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Damn it, I had a name in mind that like was just to throw out there, but I forgot that.
Happens to the best of us. Oh shit. Damn it, Cam.
All right, last call.
I know my answer's wrong, but
Yeah, me too.
Right, the team now known as Benintendi's Chicken Ten has not held on to any of their original players' inaugural draft. However, they do have one green box on the sheet. Who is this player? They traded to me, and I traded him back to them. It's Joe Adele.
Oh.
I forgot about him. I said Ryan McMahon, knowing that it was wrong, but I should have remembered that one. That annoys me.
I don't think I ever would have got that. I just threw out Shane Baz even though I knew it was wrong.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you both finally got one wrong. Let's see if question number 5 you can do a little better on. The category is bet. This is another one where the two of you are intimately involved in the question. In the 2021 season, the two of you had a $10 bet based on the number of home runs Cole Calhoun would hit that year. Within 3, what was the over-under that you set? And you'll get a bonus point if you get the number exactly.
Jesus Christ, that's... But he said bats is one of the categories. I figure Cole Calhoun would factor in there somehow.
It to be within 3.
Yeah, within 3, what was your over-under?
Okay.
I feel actually kind of confident about this one. Not confident enough to wager a super high number, but not unconfident enough to like wager 2 points. Oh wait, shit, it might be a fraction number. Cam, can I change mine?
Yeah, you both it is a fraction number. I'll let you both change if
Okay.
you decide you would like to.
Yeah.
All right. In the 2021 season, the two of you had a $10 bet based on the number of home runs Cole Calhoun would hit that year. With 3 was your over under. And you get a bonus point if you get that number exactly right. Me letting you change your bets or change your score or change your answers to keep in mind about that half really paid off for both of you. The answer is 26.5. So Erik got a bonus point for changing his answer. Sahil would have been wrong. His original guess was 23, but he changed 23.5 and he gets his full.
All right, I'll take it. I can't believe Erik got the right answer on the nose. Damn. 23 and a half was
ended
the
up
number that like came to me at first, but I didn't know if it was higher because Cole Calhoun at the one season he spiked like 30 some home runs, and then yeah, I do remember that. I think
Yeah, I remember because we talked about like how many we each think or thought he would have hit. I said 30, you said 22, so we met in the middle.
yeah, I'm remembering this now. Ugh,
he hit 5.
22 sounds high to me. My God.
No, how many per 162? That was part of it too.
Yeah,
That was per
yeah,
one.
yeah. That's right. That's right. It was a 162 game pace because he had a lot of big injury history. Okay, this is coming to me now.
Yeah, it still wouldn't have cleared it. It would have been like 16 or so per
Yeah,
62.
he was very bad that year. I won that bet.
Yeah.
Eric may have
And he was
got a bonus
even
point here, but
worse this year.
What's up?
He was even worse this year.
Yeah, I don't know why teams keep rostering Cole Calhoun thinking something different is going to happen. Is Cole Calhoun even on a team right now? I know the Rangers signed him. Was it last offseason? Is he still in Texas?
He's a free agent apparently.
Oh, I could have sworn they signed him to a multi-year deal. I wonder if they like DFA'd him. Or maybe it was just a one-year deal. That
Looks like a 1-year
outfield
deal,
is-
yeah.
The Texas outfield is so bad that the fact he wasn't able to do anything there is pretty bad. But let's keep going with the trivia. I could talk about how bad Cole Calhoun is all night.
Yeah, let's keep rolling along then.
Yeah.
This next question, you're doing great, by the way.
Category is Sean Murphy.
Yeah, Sean Murphy. Question is 9 teams in this league have owned Murphy at some point. Name 2 of the 3 that have not.
Ooh, I love this question. And I also feel like we've talked about this recently. Okay.
We have.
It was definitely on one of the pads, right?
Yeah,
Pretty sure, yeah.
It definitely was, yeah. So we need
I remember last year, you both there was a question, which player has been traded the most? The answer was Sean Murphy, and neither of you got it.
I bet I might have said like Brian Hayes last year for that. So 2 of the 3 teams that he has not been on. That's the question. Okay. Pretty sure I have the answer in mind. I just want to do some internal fact checking. See if I can remember some Sean Murphy trades. There's 2 teams I'm not sure if they owned them. 2 teams I feel confident about, and evidently I'm forgetting 2 teams who exist in this league. Oh, this team, I think, one other one. Who else is in our league?
How do you guys feel about your 4 sport teams?
Pretty good.
Not too bad.
Yeah. It helps out Ruth Vicks just letting me pretty much do what I want with the baseball team, which is really the team I'm most interested in running.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm wanting him to do basketball and hockey, and we'll do football together. All right. I'm nervous about this one, but I just submitted my answer. Couldn't quite go with my highest remaining, but I feel relatively confident about this.
All right. 9 teams in the league have owned Sean Murphy at some point. Name 2 of the 3 have not. Those 3 teams are the Bellies, Jake, and catcher man himself, Yuki.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. Yeah, somehow Yuki has not owned him. I wonder if this list will get smaller by the end of this year.
I'd be curious to
He
see.
was traded like 3 times during last season after he was already the most traded player.
Well, Anthony has him right now, and he does have Andy Rodriguez coming up. I could see him selling high on Sean Murphy. He also he has Monty Grandal, and for some reason he's rostering Joey Bart. Let's see.
For
Uh,
some reason, yeah.
So I was confident about Yuki and Jake. I knew the whole Yuki thing because we had talked about how funny it was that he's never owned Murphy being the catcher guy. But I didn't remember if Erik ever owned him. It was between Erik and Daniel and Matt for the third one, and because he only said two, I didn't even bother to touch it. But I guess Erik has owned Sean Murphy at some point. So there we go.
Yeah, you remember when?
Like early on, was he part of one of those trades?
Yeah. It was part of the first draft pick trade.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I wonder that's what I thought when the trades were a first round pick. I knew he was involved in that in an early trade. I just forgot you were the one who made that trade. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. All right, but question number 7, this time the category is anti-records. Which team set the anti-record with a .3077 on base percentage in the 2022 season?
0.3077?
Yeah.
Or no, 2077, you said.
3-0. Anti-record for the season long anti-record, to clarify.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I was like, if this was a weekly record, I was like, we have many that are like way below that. And you
No,
said
this was this team's on base percentage for the full season.
and this was this past season.
This was this past season.
Okay.
All right. Both the answers are in. Which team set the anti-record with a .3077 on base percentage in the 2022 season? Anthony.
Oh, Anthony. I would not have guessed that. I was between Andrew and Daniel and Matt, and
Yeah, he's never actually had a OBP below 260, but it was just kind of consistently low all season long.
huh. I guess it kind of makes sense with some of the guys he rosters. You know, Rowdy Tellez isn't the highest OBP guy. Ramon Laureano, Xander Bogaerts didn't have that great of a year. Trying to think some of the other guys he had.
How did Jazz do with on base?
Well,
I don't think it was that great.
yeah, looks like it was 325.
Well, he also had Yasmani Grandal probably weigh him down a bit because like he had a really bad year, and then I think it's really only plus like OBP guys, Mike Trout, maybe Bogarts, but not last year.
Yeah, it was rough. It was record-breakingly rough.
I almost wagered a much higher number than I did, and I'm very glad I didn't.
Well, hopefully we'll see if it pays off. Question 8, the category is farm systems. And the question, with 16, the Orioles are the MLB team with the most owned prospects. Sahil owns 6 of them, but which other team owns 4 prospects?
You said which team owns 4 of the prospects?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I know this one. I was just talking to his team
You
about
have... Interesting. You were talking about prospect team?
Of course I was talking about prospects. I love prospects.
I guess. Yeah, you call it making an E-like move when you trade for prospects, but I haven't made any like big star for prospect trade since like 2019. So
Yeah, I know, but you hoard your prospects still like crazy.
yeah. But yeah, with 16, the Orioles are the MLB team with the most owned prospects. Sahil owns 6 of them, but which other team owns 4 Orioles prospects? That team is Andrew.
Yeah.
Andrew owns 4 of them. He owns IL Hall, Grayson Rodriguez, Seth Johnson, and Dylan Burrs.
I should have dropped one of my Orioles prospects in the middle of the question just so the question could be outdated. That would have been funny.
Well, it still would have. You still would have had the most.
Yeah,
It
I
would have been 5.
or I should have told Andrew to drop one. I don't know. Whatever. Let's keep going.
Hey, Andrew, drop Grayson Rodriguez. I promise it'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, good job both of you on this one. Question 9 category is farm systems again. And this is the other end of the spectrum, excluding Ian Anderson, who's a Keys NPI slot. There's only one Braves prospect who is owned in our league. Who is this prospect and which team owns him?
Great question.
Oh, I was thinking of one guy, but it's not him. I feel like I know part of the name of the guy. I don't know his full name. I think I know his last name. Does the last name count, or do I need a full name?
That's fine.
Okay.
I'll allow it.
Feel like it's this guy, but I'm also not surprised if I'm wrong.
If I cut out, but the team that owns the team in our league that owns him is part of the question too.
Oh, the name I typed is the name of the team who owns him. Not the.
That's all right. Question was excluding Ian Anderson. Excluding Ian Anderson, there's only one Braves prospect who is owned in our league. Who is this prospect and which team owns him? His name is Jared Schuster, and he is owned by Rootville.
Fuck. I got the name of the player right, wrong team. Ugh.
Got the right player, wrong team. Unfortunately, Shea Langoliers has 12 too many at-bats to be a prospect.
Yeah, I knew that, but I couldn't think of anyone else, honestly.
And he's in Oakland.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. so did I get any credit for getting half the answer right, or was it an all or nothing thing?
It was all or nothing.
An Aaron Bummer.
Yeah, probably could have made it not an all or nothing thing. That was already generous in allowing you to get the last name anyway.
Yeah, that's very fair. I don't deserve a point there.
You do not. But question number 10, final question, regular round. The category is losing streaks. And the question is, the Flex and Bellies, their final 14 games of the 2022 season. Who was the last they beat? So in week 16.
Who's the last team they beat, you said?
Yeah.
You said week 16 of the 2021 season or 2020?
I might have said 6. I meant week 6.
Week 6 of the 2022.
Of 2022. And they haven't won since.
I'm gonna go with my gut. See if my gut's right. My God, 14 straight. That's something.
Yeah, 14 straight. Who did they start the year with?
I think it was right? Or
no, I'm playing
EBO?
Andrew. They play EBO, so it could get off the schneid in week 1.
I don't like how this works where I've played Erik and Jake first in back-to-back years, and if you're going a year even before that, it's Jake. Like Erik's.
Yeah, I think you and Jake have to be to watch week 1, I would imagine.
Easily. Interestingly, I figured this out yesterday. Jake is the one team that I don't play a regular 7-day matchup against. Both my matchups with him are long matchups. Although
that's kind of
it did work for me last year against you having a long matchup. So
God, yeah, I was winning and then yeah. But on the other hand, I get my first win ever against Erik was where I was losing after 7 days. So it's you win some, you lose some.
Very true.
But yeah, for this one, you both went with your gut and you were both right. It is Alex and Zach. They beat in week 6 of last season.
Hey, nice.
All right. So it is now time for our mystery round. The category is the team names tournament.
Oh.
Yeah. So in our team names tournament, the entire left side of the Elite 8 was made up of names from the Dynasty Baseball League. Give the 4 baseball names which made the Elite 8. You'll receive 2 points for each correct answer.
That's a toughie. Almost accidentally gave a non-baseball name. Oops. This one's the baseball name.
Chicken Nugent.
Yeah, that was the one I'd written down. uh, I'm killing us here. Some of these questions.
Hey, you've done a lot better than you did last year.
That is true. Yeah, last time your questions were just ridiculously evil. Speaking of team names.
Interestingly enough, every question, either both have gotten it right or both of you have gotten it. There hasn't been where one of you got right and the other got it wrong.
Oh wow! So we're probably like neck and neck. I don't know what Erik's wagering has looked like, but
it comes down to the wagers, but
yeah,
and it comes down to this mystery round too.
Okay, this is.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do well with this, I don't think.
I'm trying to think of some of the good names that teams have had, and like,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I feel pretty confident about two of them. Oh, duh. Now very confident about three of the four, which means I'm gonna get like one right.
It's tough because maybe one of them that we're thinking of got bounced early by another really good one.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Bet
tough.
you never thought you'd have to think of this tournament again, did you?
Nope.
No.
Did Chicken Nugent win the tournament?
Chicken Nugent did win the tournament.
Nice.
I just gave you my four names, Cam.
All right. All 8 names are in. In our team names tournament, the entire left side of the Elite 8 was made up of names from the Dynasty Baseball League. Give the 4 baseball names which made up the Elite 8. You receive 2 points for each correct answer. Those team names are eventual runner-up North Korea. There was the executive batting order, which lost to North Korea in the Final Four. There was Team Resnick, which lost to EBO in the Elite 8. And losing to North Korea in the Elite 8 was Giovanni is a Wonderland.
Oh, it made it that far. I thought it lost in like the Sweet 16.
No, it beat Abort Pujols in the Sweet 16. Your incorrect answers. Stanton Stranglers lost. Let's see where they lost to the Liam Hendricks Experience in round 1.
Wow.
They actually were a 2 seed against the 15 seed. Lost.
Yeah, that's the wrong one. I was debating between that and EBO.
Did I only get
Acuna
one?
Matata without. What was that?
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, did I only get one?
Yeah, you only got 1. Sahil got 2. Other incorrect answers. Acuna Matata without Acuna got by North Korea in the Sweet 16. Benintendi's Chicken Tendies. Have I said that one yet? They lost to Team Resnick in the Sweet 16. But yeah, those were that was the mystery round. Scores are in second place with 46 points. We have Team Brock Porter, and in first place with 53 points, we have Team Miles Straw.
How many did you say Erik had again?
46. So you're up by 7 points.
Interesting. All right.
It all comes down to the final round. You can wager up to it's up to 20, I believe.
Up to 20.
Up to 20. Yeah, gotcha. I know. Yeah, the rules have changed between when we used to play and now that I host, and I'm doing the old rules. I'm trying to remember them as best I can.
What's the new rule?
But yeah, so it's up to 15, and there's also only 8 questions, but there are 2 mystery rounds.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is interesting. Yeah, I like mystery round, so I like it, but I also
Yeah.
but the final category is trades.
Hmm.
Yes. All right.
Keeping it vague here. Interesting wagers. Very, very interesting wagers here. Category is trades. Here is your question. And I've been hyping this question up for a long time. Hopefully it lives up to it. 9 different players with the last name Hernandez have been traded in league history. Name 6
Oh
of
my
them.
god.
Does this include voided trades?
I'd say sure. I think I know the one you're thinking of, and I think and if that is the one we're thinking of, then yes, that is one of the 9.
Okay. So 6 of the 9 Hernandezes we need to name.
6 of the 9 Hernandi.
Hernandi.
We need 6, right?
Yeah, 6.
This is tough. I think what teams have owned a Hernandez like in the major leagues. Like, I'm sure there's some like random obscure names I'm not thinking of. I only got 3 so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got 5, but I'm only confident in 3 of them, I think.
Yeah, I'm up to 5. This question was appropriately hyped for its level of difficulty.
Yeah.
I thought it was a fun one.
It is a fun one. It's just it's difficult. All
All right, I'm gonna give another minute or two to get those answers in.
right. Oops, I almost accidentally sent it to Erik. That would have been an issue. Fuck. I have 6 typed up, and I'm just trying to see if I can think of another one that's better before you
Yeah,
tell
same.
those up.
But you can just like in my 6th one whenever you say it's time.
So are those 6 that you submitted your final answers?
Yeah.
Fuck it, I just submitted 6 as well. I'm not going to think of another name, and if I do, fine, like whatever.
Yep.
Both sets of answers are locked in.
Moment of truth.
Moment of truth. Interestingly, very, very interesting answers here. Yeah, you both got the same 5 correct, and then you both different 6th one of which is incorrect.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Very, very, very fun. So you all correctly, let me double check. You both correctly got Kike Hernandez.
yeah,
You correctly got Heriberto Hernandez.
naturally,
You both correctly got Teoscar Hernandez.
easy one.
You both Felix Hernandez.
Yep, that was avoided.
You both got Jonathan Hernandez.
You both missed Ronaldo Darwinson.
Oh,
And Eliezer Hernandez.
damn it.
And the last Hernandez is
Cesar.
Yes.
which means, and by those screams of victory, I think we know who our winner is.
We do. That we do.
All right. Congratulations, Sahil, on your three-peat as Dynasty Trivia champion.
Thank you. I think it's about time I host next time, so somebody else has a shot at winning. But this is a close one. I mean, Erik and I were neck and neck for. We basically got the same ones right and wrong, with the exception of I got one more in the team names, and then I got one more Hernandez. We'll have to see it. This is good.
Yeah, how many
Yeah,
points did you bet?
I bet, quote, "I'm not a bitch. You should know what that means without the number." So, yeah, that's
Yeah,
yeah.
I bet one.
You bet one. I mean, that's actually smart because we would have both lost. Yeah, you would have won. Oh man.
Yeah, no, Sahil, if you hadn't come up with Jonathan Hernandez at the end, yeah.
I was trying to remember like if he was real, and then I was like, I'm pretty sure he's a like reliever for the Rangers. But then I was like, has he actually been traded? Because he feels like waiver wire fodder. And now looking at
You think I traded him, right?
yeah, you traded him for Robinson Cano in a second round pick.
Oh yeah.
Which feels really weird saying that now. This was in the 2020 season, so I think this was his first year in New York. I want to say was it 20? I think it was 20. No, 19 was his first season. This is the second season. Okay. That's right, because he like got off to that hot start and he just like killed it the rest of that year. He had a 142 WRC plus, and then the next year he literally had a 6 WRC plus. And sorry, he was suspended that whole next year, and then in 2022 he had a 6 WRC plus. Forgot he had that second suspension.
Interestingly enough, Christian Hernandez has remained on remained on that same team the entire time. However, that later became Christian Hernandez has traded. It was traded from it started out as Connor's pick, then it went to Erik, then EBO, then back to Connor, and then to Jake. But he is in the spreadsheet as a Hernandez who has been traded, so I did not I guess I could retroactively count it and the result wouldn't change, but didn't think I would count it.
Yeah. Good call.
Makes sense.
But yeah, so that was Dynasty Trivia. Always a pleasure. Yeah, thanks Erik for coming on. And anyone have anything else to say before we call it a week?
No, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for putting this together, Cam.
Yeah, for sure. I did it mostly yesterday.
I love it. Can't wait for us to do this again next year.
All right, yeah, I'll see if my trivia chops can stand up, if I can try and get a win here.
For your sake, I hope so.
Later.
Yep. Until next time.
Le dije muy enojado, eso que tú has murmurado tiene mucho de verdad. Los latinoamericanos a muchos americanos le han quitado su lugar.
This podcast is good.